I had so much to share with my daughter, but tiredness overcame me. The wind whispered softly, moving the curtains, as if trying to lull me to sleep. My daughter, with a smile full of joy, looked at me. Laughing, she said to me, "You're already sleepy, Mom." I nodded my head and answered, "Yes, very much, daughter, I think I'm going to sleep. I think the years are already weighing me down." "Don't say that, Mom, you are still young," said my daughter with a tender smile. "That's not what my grandmother says, she's already older than here," I answered, laughing. "Don't talk about your grandmother like that, Mom," I said with an accomplice tone. "It's your fault, Mom, you make me talk like that," my daughter replied, laughing playfully. Before I went to rest, I couldn't help but ask, "Don't you think it's too late for your husband to still be out?" "Don't worry, Mom, I'm sure he met a friend and is having a drink," she said, trying to calm me down. I pursed my lips and nodded as if to say, "Well, if you say so," even though my heart didn't share that calmness. "You should warn him, help him not to do that," I insisted, worried about what might be happening. "Oh, Mom, if you knew that I have already told him in many ways, but he doesn't listen," he confessed with resignation, sighed, and while picking up the cups from the table, he said, "But don't worry, Mom, he will be here soon," trying to calm me down. I went to my room and threw myself on the bed face down. The chill of the night enveloped me like a subtle joke. Interrupting my deep sleep, avoiding to turn on the lamp, I lay under the covers, hoping to regain the warmth lost in the early morning. Suddenly, I heard light footsteps echoing in the hallway. From the darkness, saw a shadow cast in the window, a man's silhouette. I knew it was my son-in-law, as he was the only man missing that night. A shiver ran down my spine, but my curiosity overcame my fear. The sound of my feet rubbing in search of warmth was interrupted by the creaking of the door handle. The door slowly opened and moonlight illuminated the room. I instinctively closed my eyes, pretending to sleep soundly. Someone's agitated breathing near the bed broke the silence. I felt his presence nearby and his hand caressing my face. Fear invaded me, but I decided to remain calm, thinking that my son-in-law was just looking for something without wanting to wake me up. However, his hand did not stop, but began to travel a wider path. I opened my eyes. Surprised. "What's the matter? What do you think you're doing?" I asked, trying to remain calm. "I'm your mother-in-law. You don't realize. Your room is down the hall," I added, trying to clear up the confusion. The silence stretched on, broken only by the whisper of my breathing and the beating of my heart, waiting for an answer that would explain her presence. At that moment, the hallway light came on, and my daughter's voice reassured me. "Honey, is that you?" she asked as she walked down the hall. My son-in-law, with a pleading expression, begged me not to make a sound. I was visiting my daughter and son-in-law's house. I have always felt that couples should have their own space, so I don't interfere in their lives unless they ask my advice. But this time it was different. It had been 20 days since the birth of their son, and although I couldn't be there because of the distance, I felt a mixture of excitement and curiosity to meet my grandson. As I arrived, I heard a soft melody coming from the next room. The delicate sounds created a peaceful atmosphere, perfect for a baby. My attention was diverted to the face of my son-in-law. He greeted me with an enigmatic smile. "Welcome, mother-in-law," he murmured, his eyes shining with a mischievous light I didn't understand. The walls of the living room were decorated with family photos, but something in the atmosphere made me feel there was something else going on, as if I were facing a mystery. My daughter appeared with the baby in her arms, and the little one, with curious eyes, explored his surroundings. "Hello, from Grandma?" my daughter exclaimed, as if the baby was greeting me. Smiling, she offered me the child, and I took him in my arms while she hugged me. "Look, Mom, what a great gift I have." "What a wonderful gift, daughter," I replied. Looking at my son-in-law, I said, "He has your eyes, dear." My son-in-law smiling replied, "But it also has your lips." I did not respond, although I was struck by his attitude. During dinner, the silverware clinked softly against the china, and the clinking of glasses added a harmony to the conversation. I watched my son-in-law more closely, noticing how his eyes met mine enigmatically. I felt a slight discomfort. I even went so far as to think I should change my clothes, since his eyes seemed to focus on what my cleavage was trying to cover. After dinner, we moved to the living room. Guillermo came over and commented, "I think this is a good time to celebrate." He uncorked a bottle and offered me a glass. Although I'm not a big fan of wine, I figured one a year wouldn't hurt. Besides, my daughter also commented, "She's just a mom." I took the glass and toasted with him. We started talking about when my daughter and I shared experiences, something I still keep fresh in my memory. My daughter looked at me so fondly that her eyes filled with selvage. Then Minger didn't intervene. "One more drink?" I'm a screamer. "No, I think I've had enough." "I feel a little dizzy," I replied. "Don't say that, mother-in-law, you've only had a little." He insisted. "Yes, but that's enough, I'll see you if you want us to accompany you," I told him. He accepted and poured himself another drink. At that moment, his phone rang. He got up and said, "I think I'll let you two talk for a moment." He walked over to my daughter, gave her a kiss and added, "I'll be back soon, honey, just for a little while." I am a woman who has not been very lucky in love. My love life has been a labyrinth of disappointments and misunderstandings. The only tangible proof of those failed loves is my daughter, the fruit of my first marriage. The relationships that followed were like pieces of a puzzle that never quite fit together. My refuge became physical exercise, where I found peace away from the shadows of the past. My body became a symbol of endurance, and every effort was an act of self-love, a way to heal my broken heart. The next morning, the sun gently illuminated the room. The air seemed calm, but inside, confusion and intrigue were still present. I decided to talk to Guillermo, and the night before had been disconcerting, and I was sure he had not confused the room. I dressed in a blouse to cover myself, seeking some protection from the embarrassment I felt when confronting him. Entering the kitchen, I found him drinking coffee in silence, lost in thought. "Good morning," I said, trying to break the ice. "Good morning, mother-in-law," he replied nervously. "We need to talk," I told him firmly. "Yes, you're right," she admitted, staring at me. "But first I want you to listen to me, because at least then I'll have some defense." "Look at you," intrigued by what he was about to tell me. Then he began to speak. "I'm sorry about what happened last night, mother-in-law. I don't know what came over me. My wife hasn't wanted anything to do with me lately, and I feel like I'm about to explode with no one to talk to. I thought that you, as a mother, might understand me, and that's why I tried to reach out to you last night. I was in shock trying to understand what you were saying to me." "Why do you think I can help you with that?" I asked, feeling a mixture of annoyance and surprise. "Sue screams, not to criticize you, but I thought that since you have had several relationships, maybe you could help me," she blurted out without a filter. The offense flooded me. "You still don't know anything about life, and you are already judging me and wanting to take advantage of what I have lived," I replied firmly. "Sorry, mother-in-law, it was not my intention," she stammered. "I don't even know what to do or how to explain what I feel." At that moment, my daughter appeared with the baby in her arms. "Good morning, family," she said, as she sat down and passed the baby to her father. I kept thinking about what I was going to do, and the next day I summoned my daughter and son-in-law. "Guys, we need to talk," I said calmly, though my heart was pounding. I sat down across from them, determined. "I was only going to stay for 4 days, but I have decided to leave a day early," I began. "It is important that they have more communication. You each have needs that you must fulfill with each other. Otherwise, this will only lead to a double life." My eyes moved between my daughter and son-in-law, looking for some reaction that indicated they understood what I was telling them. My son-in-law's thanks broke the attention for a moment. "Thank you, mother-in-law. I thank you very much for your understanding, he said, and although his words expressed gratitude, his eyes reflected a mixture of sadness and embarrassment. I stood up, feeling the need to escape the tense atmosphere. I'm leaving in a little while because I have things to do, I told them, looking at both of them. My daughter, not knowing anything about what she had experienced at home, commented, "Oh, Mommy. I would have liked you to stay a little longer. But well, you decide. Just remember that you are always welcome whenever you want to come. Your past doesn't define your future, and even if things didn't turn out the way you expected, that doesn't mean you're the comfort of others." Do you think she did the right thing?